Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're completely shifting how we look at horticulture. We aren't just going to look at a plant as some simple product of nature, right? Instead, we're going to look at it as a highly efficient, multi-system biological machine. Our subject today is the GE Neri. We're going to analyze this organism from the ground up, treating it as a precision-engineered unit that is specifically optimized for the harsh realities of maritime cold climates. We're going to approach this like a true engineering teardown. To really understand the cold climate performance of the GE Neri, we'll run a system diagnostics overview across 5 distinct modules: the baseline biological machine, structural architecture, chemical and defensive systems, thermodynamic engineering, and finally, the biochemical flavor architecture. All right, let's dive straight into Module 1, the biological machine, just to get a baseline overview of the unit. So, take a look at the overarching unit here. This is the GE Neri, operating inside a restricted root container system. Now, notice the architecture. It's got this medium vigor, upright dominance. So instead of wasting all its energy spreading outward, it channels that vegetative energy straight up. Functionally, that creates a highly desirable, walkable architecture. Even when you've got it housed in a hefty 25-gallon pot, the whole unit stays incredibly compact. That means you can place them close together for high density without losing any of that crucial light penetration. Moving on to Module 2, Structural Architecture, focusing on photosynthesis and canopy density. You really have to look closely at this specialized leaf morphology. In these cloudy, maritime environments, light is literally your most limiting resource. So these 3 to 5 lobed leaves have incredibly deep serrated sinuses. And guys, this isn't just aesthetics, it's functional engineering. Those deep sinuses dramatically increase the perimeter of the leaf, which directly improves gas exchange. On top of that, if you notice the subtle gloss on the surface, that's actually a waxy cuticle. It acts as a mechanical barrier to reduce transpiration rates whenever there's a sudden dry spell. And that efficiency scales directly into the physical branch structure too. Check out these short to medium internodes. The internode, if you're not familiar, is just the space between the leaf nodes where the actual payload, the fruit, is produced. By featuring short internodes, the GE Neri packs significantly more potential fruit nodes per linear foot of branch. You're mathematically multiplying your fruiting potential right there within a totally restricted spatial footprint. To really anchor its functional superiority, we can compare this canopy architecture directly against standard, low-efficiency sprawling cultivars. While those sprawling varieties have a weeping habit that eats up a ton of space and demands constant mechanical propping and structural training, the GE Neri completely bypasses that. It leverages strong apical dominance. Its vertical energy direction ensures strict compatibility with high-density, walkable orchard grids. Basically, it's a system purpose-built for spatial efficiency. But of course, spatial efficiency has to be paired with structural hardiness, right? The GE Neri features an incredibly dense xylem and a characteristic gray-brown bark. In cold maritime zones, trees go through this rigorous annual winterization protocol that involves heavy burlap wrapping and unwrapping. Well, the extreme density of this wood resists rapid frost damage when temperatures suddenly plummet. Plus, the bark actively defends against physical abrasions during those harsh mechanical wrapping procedures. Let's shift gears to Module 3, Chemical and Defensive Systems, specifically looking at nutrient modulation. Look, a high-performance machine requires high-precision fuel. The GE Neri's demands a tightly controlled chemical input protocol. Specifically, you have to maintain an optimal, slightly alkaline pH right around 7.5. That specific threshold is completely non-negotiable because it ensures maximum calcium uptake. And that calcium is then directly transported and utilized to catalyze firm skin and robust structural integrity in the final fruit payload. And that chemical management happens in 2 distinct phases, as outlined in this NPK modulation protocol. So in the spring phase, the system requires a balanced 5-5-5 input. The functional output here is purely vegetative push, establishing the solar panels, the canopy. But then, as we transition into summer, the protocol shifts aggressively to a 5-10-30 high potassium input. That potassium spike is the absolute required catalyst for fruit swell, driving deep pigmentation and complex sugar synthesis. Now, alongside those chemical inputs, the organism has evolved some pretty brilliant mechanical defenses. Look closely right at the base of the fruit. This is the ostiole, or the eye of the fig. In the GE Neri, this ostiole is highly sealed. This is a totally critical piece of defensive hardware that actively resists environmental moisture fluctuations. By maintaining a sealed barrier, the system fundamentally prevents internal souring, even during periods of heavy maritime rain. However, let's be real, no biological system is completely without its vulnerabilities. We have to impartially look at the pathological reality of fig mosaic virus, or FMV. This is a systemic reality in most figs, and it usually expresses itself as these mottled yellow spotted leaves. But notice the condition here. These visual symptoms predominantly manifest when the organism's energy drops and it falls into a state of low vigor. Which brings us to a really key operational concept: vigor management. Because total eradication of FMV is functionally impossible, the system is instead managed through optimized, high-level inputs. By prioritizing perfect nutritional balance and pristine root zone health, we basically allow the GE Neri to metabolically outgrow the viral symptoms. The virus is still there, but the system is pushed to operate at absolute peak productivity regardless. All right, moving on to Module 4, Thermodynamic Engineering, and what we call the thermal battery. To protect the organism during rapid maritime temperature drops, we engineer a thermal battery. The physics here are straightforward but just highly effective. Step 1. We utilize masonry structures, like brick or concrete, to absorb daylight solar radiation. Step 2. That thermal energy is stored right within the high-capacity mass. And finally, Step 3. As the sun sets and temperatures drop, that long-wave infrared radiation is released, which physically raises the ambient microclimate temperatures right around the plant. By strategically placing the GE Neri directly against a south-facing brick wall, we deliberately engineer a managed microclimate. During those critical late autumn and early spring shoulder seasons, this physical layout buffers the plant against what could be fatal frost events. The masonry essentially acts as an invisible thermal shield for the organism. And below ground, the engineering continues with substrate innovation. Standard soil can be pretty unpredictable, so we build a living substrate by incorporating biochar. This highly porous carbon acts as a structural anchor for nutrients and creates a super stable, buffered habitat for essential mycorrhizal fungi. Ultimately, this biochar buffer system protects the roots against those extreme moisture swings, from total saturation to drought, that really define maritime environments. Finally, we arrive at Module 5, Biochemical Flavor Architecture, the culinary output. Take a look at this incredible cross-section. It reveals the multi-stage flavor matrix of the gene N. While your common cultivars produce a fast, one-dimensional sugar hit, this organism is engineered to output a highly complex, sustained sensory release. All those biological systems we discussed earlier, the potassium loading, the diffuse light photosynthesis, they all culminate directly into this matrix right here. Systematically, we can break this biochemical architecture down into 3 distinct pillars. First up is the foundation, a profound dark profile that registers on the palate as a heavy blackberry cherry jam. As that settles, a secondary layer engages, characterized by dense molasses and caramelized sugars. And finally, at peak physiological maturity, the system unlocks top notes of highly subtle floral and cocoa aromatics. This dense, glistening, ruby red pulp is the ultimate measurable payload. But, from a functional standpoint, what's missing here is equally important. The achines, the botanical seeds, are highly refined. This results in a thick, syrupy texture totally devoid of that distracting, gritty seed crunch you often find in lesser biological units. That number, 3, represents the 3 distinct stages of the flavor matrix we just explored. But really, it all comes back to chemistry. That brilliant ruby red color is a direct biological indicator of an incredibly high anthocyanin density. It's this exact concentration of antioxidant compounds that not only drives those 3 complex flavor layers, but mechanically increases the structural firmness of the fruit wall itself. So we've completely mapped the GE Neri. We've seen exactly how its structural efficiency, its nutrient protocols, its thermal battery integrations, and its biochemical output all work together as a cohesive machine, and it leaves us with a really critical thought to walk away with. If we stop viewing traditional horticulture as just growing plants, and start approaching it as precision biological engineering, how might that permanently redefine the future of maritime agriculture? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep analyzing, and I'll see you next time.